With a legal and injury update, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Providing information regarding a lawsuit involving Cody Rhodes, Ringside News noted that the legal drama between WWE star Cody Rhodes and musician Wesley Eisel just turned up the heat. Rhodes, WWE, and Fanatics have filed motions to dismiss Eisel's claims in a September lawsuit accusing them of trademark infringement and breach of a 2021 settlement agreement. The case revolves around the use of the American Nightmare name, which both Eisel and Rhodes use for their respective projects. Eisel for his band, American Nightmare, and Rhodes for his wrestling persona. According to Post Wrestling, Eisel claims that WWE and Fanatics violated the agreement by selling American Nightmare merch that doesn't properly include Rhodes' name, likeness, or wrestling elements, a condition meant to distinguish the merchandise from Eisel's rock band. In his lawsuit, Eisel slammed the WWE shop items, claiming they failed to meet the settlement standard because they don't sufficiently represent Rhodes' wrestling persona. However, attorneys for Rhodes, WWE, and Fanatics hit back, arguing that the inclusion of Rhodes' iconic skull logo prominently tattooed on his neck fulfills the agreement's requirements. Rhodes has a prominent neck tattoo of the skull mark, WWE and Fanatics attorneys argued. By virtue of Runnels' worldwide popularity, the tattoo has become widely recognized as part of his likeness. Rhodes' skull logo, which has been registered as a wrestling trademark, appears on WWE merch alongside the American Nightmare text. WWE and Fanatics attorneys contend this combination satisfies the requirement for substantial indicia indicating association with wrestling, as stated in the agreement. Eisel's lawyers counter that the merch still violates the deal because it doesn't include enough of Rhodes' wrestling identity. Meanwhile, WWE and Fanatics claim they weren't even aware of the Eisel-Rhodes agreement until Eisel filed a lawsuit, making it impossible for them to have knowingly caused any breach. The original settlement, signed when Rhodes was with AEW, named the AEW logo as an example of wrestling indicia but didn't define additional parameters. Now, WWE's team is leaning heavily on the argument that the tattoo itself is sufficient to meet the agreement's terms. The lawsuit, which is being heard in the Central District of California, has drawn attention due to the unique nature of the dispute. Can a tattoo double as a legal trademark? WWE and Fanatics think so, calling the skull mark a symbol fans associate with wrestling and Runnels. While Eisel's band, American Nightmare, is still occasionally active, his legal team is arguing that the merchandise confuses consumers and violates his rights. The case is ongoing, with WWE, Fanatics, and Rhodes represented by powerhouse attorneys from Holland and Knight and JRM Law, while Eisel is represented by King, Holmes, Paterno, and Soriano. Going over Jade Cargill's injury setback, Ringside News wrote that WWE fans are still talking about the brutal backstage assault on Jade Cargill during SmackDown, but now the shocking segment takes on a new layer of reality. Wrestling insider Dave Meltzer has confirmed that Cargill is dealing with a legitimate neck injury, putting her out of action for a minimum of 3 months and possibly much longer. In his Sunday daily update, Meltzer revealed, "We did get confirmation that Cargill is injured, but the severity wasn't known internally. Past those involved in creative were told it will be a minimum of 3 months out, maybe longer, which is why they released the story of such severe injuries. This neck injury has already derailed Cargill's meteoric rise in WWE, forcing a major reshuffle in the WWE Women's US title tournament. A mystery competitor is now set to step in against Michin and Piper Niven, leaving fans speculating about what could have been had Cargill remained in the picture. WWE initially played off the SmackDown angle as storyline injuries, listing a laundry list of damage: deep lumbar, paraspinal muscle contusions, a bruised kidney, a sprained MCL, and a tibial plateau bone bruise, and facial lacerations. However, Sean Ross Sampa Fightful Select reported that the attack was scripted to cover up Cargill's real-life setback. Now, PW Nexus sources have further clarified that the injury involves Cargill's neck, with the 3-month timeline described as a best-case scenario. Given the nature of neck injuries, her recovery story could extend well beyond that time frame, potentially jeopardizing her availability for marquee events like Survivor Series and even Royal Rumble 2025. Cargill's absence is a significant blow for WWE and her fans, especially with the buzz surrounding her transition from AEW to WWE. Her unmatched presence and athleticism had set her up as a game changer in the women's division, making this injury a tough pill to swallow for those eagerly anticipating her dominance. While WWE hasn't issued an official comment or return date, the door is wide open for speculation and hope for a dramatic comeback once she's cleared. Going over why Keith Lee has not returned to AEW programming, Ringside News wrote that Keith Lee has suffered a few serious medical issues over the past several years. After going through COVID-19, he was pulled from action while in WWE and he started fighting against death. He hasn't wrestled in a year for AEW at this point, and there is no word on his current status. Following his signing with AEW after his WWE release, Keith Lee suffered another physical setback. At this point, Lee's last match was on December 23, 2023, as he beat Brian Cage at AEW Collision's Holiday Bash. His return timeline is uncertain due to an unspecified situation, but fans are looking forward to seeing him back in action in AEW. During a recent Q&A on Fightful Select, Sean Ross Sapp was asked about Keith Lee's current status. He responded to say that while he hasn't heard anything back for a few months, the only thing holding Lee back is his medical clearance. The last time I asked was early fall, and he was not clear, unfortunately. It's not any other situation except for him not being cleared. Touching on an AEW star that is set to become a free agent, Ringside News said the future of AEW star Penta El Zero Miedo is looking uncertain as new reports suggest his contract is set to expire next week, making him a potential free agent. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, Penta's time with AEW isn't for much longer, and the door may soon open for him to explore new opportunities, including a possible move to WWE. Earlier this summer, it was reported that both Penta and his brother Rey Fenix were nearing the end of their AEW contracts, with injury time being added to extend their deals. However, sources within AEW reportedly believe that Penta's deal is now approaching its final days. Word within All Elite Wrestling is that Penta's deal will be up next week, as he'll effectively become a free agent, barring some unforeseen changes, Sapp reported. While no official communication from WWE's confirmed interest in Penta, the rumor mill suggests the company may want to bring in the Lucha Bros as a package deal. Penta's high-flying, crowd-pleasing style could make him an attractive addition to WWE's main roster, especially as the company continues to invest in international talent. Indie promotions are also eyeing Penta for high-profile matches, with booking inquiries reportedly flooding in should he become available. Penta's recent comments about leaving contract negotiations to his legal team have fueled speculation about his next steps. He recently told Mas Lucha, "My present in AEW, I'm still firm with them, and quite frankly, I don't know what will happen in the future." Rey Fenix's contract situation remains slightly more complex, with injury time potentially keeping him tied to AEW for longer. However, both brothers' future appear to be at a crossroads, and the wrestling world is watching closely. Asked about Vince McMahon's new entertainment company, Eric Bischoff told Wrestling Shoot Interviews, "I've got a little bit of insider information that I believe to be credible. According to this source, who is a public figure in the entertainment business as an agent, so I need to protect their name, Vince has recently purchased property in Santa Monica. Santa Monica, California is one of the most expensive commercial areas in the state. He has also acquired some production facilities there. He's hired a couple couple of people. One of them is Kristen Prouty, who was formerly associated with WWE. She was based in Los Angeles and handled a lot of PR work. She had access to celebrities, and whenever WWE needed someone from Hollywood for a program and didn't have a direct connection, Kristen was the one to make it happen and negotiate deals. She had been with WWE for quite a while, at least since I was there in 2019, and likely spent about 10 years working indirectly for Vince. Although she didn't report directly to him, she worked with him. He hired another woman whose name I can't recall right now. She also worked in WWE's public relations department. At the time, she and her husband were expecting their first child, but she was let go after the TKO WWE merger due to redundancy. When two companies merge, there's always overlap. If WWE had 10 PR people and TKO had 10, they might only need 6 or 8 combined. Both Kristen and this other woman are now working for Vince in his new venture. One of Vince's projects evidently is his perspective on the Monday Night Wars. According to what I've heard, he's got a version that nobody else has ever heard before, which I find fascinating. Maybe from Vince's perspective, there were things about that era that haven't been discussed. I don't want to on it, but man, you're talking about a subject that's been done to death. Wow, but that's one thing. As for his business plan, I don't think anyone knows much about it at this point. Based on what I've heard, Vince is waiting for his legal issues to be resolved, both civil lawsuits and the ongoing investigation by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Until those matters are cleared, he's unlikely to make any public announcements about his plans. Regarding the SEC investigation, that's under the Department of Justice, which falls under the executive branch. Could political shifts like Trump potentially being in power again influence the outcome? Sure, it's possible, but will it? I honestly don't know, and I don't even want to guess. Politics is so unpredictable these days that it's hard to even speculate. When it comes to the WWE status of Bruce Prichard, Ringside News noted that WWE Executive Director Bruce Prichard is taking extended time away from the company, with new reports suggesting he won't return until early 2025. The update comes from Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer Daily Update, confirming that Prichard's absence continues due to personal and family health matters. Prichard's hiatus has been a topic of discussion among fans, especially since his Something to Wrestle podcast co-host Conrad Thompson addressed the situation. Thompson assured listeners that Prichard is still employed by WWE and dismissed any rumors of drama, explaining nothing salacious is going on. He's just taking time for personal and family health issues. Meanwhile, Michael P.S. Hayes, another prominent backstage figure who also recently took a leave of absence, has made his return. Hayes was reportedly back in action for last week's double WWE SmackDown taping, where he worked on the highly anticipated Bloodline segments featuring the returns of Paul Heyman and CM Punk. Hayes and Prichard's simultaneous absences initially raised eyebrows, but the situations are unrelated. While Hayes has resumed his duties, producing key moments on SmackDown, fans will have to wait until next year to see Prichard back in his executive role. With Prichard's creative influence and long-standing contributions to WWE, his return will undoubtedly be a welcomed moment for the company and its fans. For now, all eyes are on WWE's evolving storylines as Hayes and others continue to step up backstage. An injury took place at AEW Full Gear, as the company wrote on X, while bringing the boom against QT Marshall on this past Saturday's AEW Full Gear 0 Hour. Big Boom AJ suffered a broken foot, but managed to fight valiantly and earn the victory in his AEW debut in front of his son, Big Justice, friend, the Rizzler, more than 10,000 fans at Bruce Center, and millions of fans from around the world watching at home. AEW looks forward to welcoming Big Boom AJ, Big Justice, and the whole Costco Guys crew back anytime, and we wish him a speedy recovery. Providing an update on his career, Bryan Danielson told the Nikki and Bree show, "I was very cautious to not say retirement, except for the match where if I lost against Swerve Strickland, I would retire. After that, it was all the end of my full-time wrestling career. We don't know what's going to happen with my neck, but it honestly feels like I have a bobblehead. I didn't want to retire, but they wouldn't let me wrestle again. What I found is people are sad for a bit, then everybody just moves on, and it doesn't matter. The hardest part for it is probably for the person who does it. I can't find the excitement and nervousness of wrestling, where something could go wrong at any moment in everyday life, but I can find more contentment and peace." It appears another women's championship will be introduced, with Ringside News writing, "Big changes are coming to WWE's women's division, with plans underway to introduce a women's intercontinental championship for the Raw brand. According to PW Insider Elite, discussions are in motion to expand the division's opportunities, giving female superstars another prestigious title to battle for. While exact details about the rollout remain scarce, WWE is expected to announce more information in the near future. The new title could signify a major shift in how WWE elevates its women's roster, ensuring more stars get their time to shine. This announcement comes on the heels of the ongoing Women's United States title tournament on SmackDown, where competitors are battling to become the inaugural champion. With the final scheduled for WWE Saturday night's main event on December 14th, the women's division is already heating up, and the addition of another title could bring even more excitement. Currently, SmackDown's Women's United States title tournament has seen major action, including Chelsea Green securing her spot in the semi-finals after defeating Bianca Belair and Blair Davenport. Meanwhile, Bayley advanced in the first round by taking out Candice LeRae and B-Fab. These intense battles show WWE's commitment to creating fresh narratives and thrilling matches for its female superstars. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.